Hi, I'm Tara.
And I'm Shalvi.
Welcome to A Perfect World.
In this episode, we're taking a look at food, how what we eat can affect more than just our bodies.
I think we're all probably aware of the fair trade labels that we're seeing more and more on the foods we buy.
Yeah, it's about ensuring fair labor rights for the producers of the commodities used in the products we buy, as well as trying to ensure that the act of producing those commodities isn't destructive to the environment.
Unfortunately, that isn't always the case. Some farms under fair trade have worse living conditions than those that aren't under fair trade systems.
Let's take a look at this ad Greenpeace put out about the fair trade labeled Kit Kats and the impact they had on the environment.
Sounds good. Wow, Shalvi. That was confronting and sad. I can't believe that a chocolate bar has the potential to ruin a whole species.
It really makes me think about what else am I doing that just seems to be okay, but just has a really bad impact on the environment.
I totally agree. Let's have a look into that and see what alternatives we can come up with. Today, each of us has brought in one of our favorite go-to treats, and we're going to dig a little deeper into the good and evil that they bring to the plate.
I mean, how bad can it really be? Are they really making that big of an impact on the environment? Or is it just being blown out of proportion?
I think it's all about the little things we do. I really don't want to have to give up what I've brought in today, but despite that, ignorance isn't bliss. We need to strive to do our best by our environment.
Well, let's just take a look at the information our team has gathered for us, and then we can be the judge of whether our treats can stay or if we should really kick them to the curb.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan. Now, this is one of those things that people either love or hate, but I'm a sucker for gum.
Well, Shalvi, according to our research team, there are several damning facts about your chosen treat. Chewing gum is actually the world's second most common form of litter. But even if you're not being a tosser, there are still some points that might make you decide to kick the habit. Conventional gum does not biodegrade because it is made from polymers which are synthetic plastics. To put this in a little more perspective, one of the main polymers in chewing gum is also used as an engine lubricant and adhesive. To make matters worse, the amount of gum we chew each year adds up to more than 250,000 tons of waste. Now, when fish consume the waste, it accumulates toxins over time, which are reintroduced to the food chain when the fish are eaten.
Oh, wow. I mean, sure, I've encountered the old gum stuck under the desk before, but I didn't realize the impact was that broad.
Well, Shalvi, you're in luck, because there are much healthier alternatives. Modern-day chicle-based gum can biodegrade completely in 2 weeks. Rather than synthetic plastic, chicle is a natural form of rubber. So have a read of the fine print before you pick up your next packet.
Thanks, Tara. I definitely will. How about you? Let's hope you brought something in a bit more friendly.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Well, one of my go-to every day is the almond milk coffee. I've been off dairy for a while, and almond milk is my favorite substitute.
Now that does sound healthy, but I hate to break it to you. While almond milk actually is quite good for you, it isn't so good for the planet.
Oh no.
Almond milk has quickly made a rise over recent years to the most popular alternative to dairy milk. so much so that between 2010 and 2015, the market for almond milk grew by 250%.
That's a lot.
Many consumers have chosen this alternative as it has a smaller carbon footprint in comparison to dairy. But what may surprise you is that almond milk production takes its toll on our planet in other ways. It takes over 60 liters of water to produce just 16 almonds. That's approximately 3.7 liters to one almond. In the state of California, where 80% of the world's almonds are grown, it is considered one of the most water-intensive crops. Also notable is its impact on the 23,000 acres of natural lands that have been converted to almond farms. 16,000 of those acres were previously considered wetlands. And that's only the tip of the iceberg.
So, unsustainable water usage as well as destruction to native habitat? Well, it seems like almond milk really isn't the most sustainable alternative.
Seems we've all been fooled. Luckily, though, there are a number of dairy alternatives out there, such as soy milk, coconut milk, oat milk, to just name a few.
So, what do you think? Stick to it or substitute?
Substitute. That's really interesting to see how a treat can have such a big impact on the environment.
They're really unassuming products, aren't they? Yeah. And it brings up so many questions for me about sustainability and the health of these products.
To be honest, I don't know how much time I can spend to research into the sources for everything I eat on a daily basis. And usually when I have 5 minutes between work, I like to just go grab something to eat. I don't know if I have the time to open up an app and research into what I'm buying.
You know, I want to be able to run to a restaurant or a place where I can just grab some food, and I don't want to have to think about where my food comes from. I want to know that it is Australian based and that it is ethically sourced and that I can eat my meal in peace without having to think that I'm harming our very planet that we're living on.
I have the same intentions. That's why I am vegetarian.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I grew up to be vegetarian, but later on, I think now I've chosen to be vegetarian because my brother, he grew up to be vegetarian too, but now he eats chicken. The reasons why I'm vegetarian is because I watched this documentary once, and it talked about how it's good for the environment, how animal grazing just pollutes a lot. It's better to actually eat chicken than beef because beef produces methane, which is more destructive on the environment, and CO2 is not as destructive.
Wow, Shalvi, hearing all of that, it just makes me realize how much work there is in trying to find ethically sourced places for the things we consume.
And it doesn't just stop at food either. We're really exploring a lot of regions in the developed and developing world to support our consumer culture.
We can start the change at home by making the best choice we can as consumers. We can encourage the big corporations and the government to make ethical choices in how they source raw materials. Wait, hold on. I'm getting some breaking news from clone number 66. Apparently, in the Dystopian Daily News Update, the world is adjusting to the changes that more ethical sources of raw materials have brought. Over to you, News Clone 66.
Since the legislation against destructive resourcing of raw materials in the mid-21st century, as well as the development of interspecies communication technologies, our society has experienced unforeseen political powers arising. It has been a long road for the world's hairier primates to gain serious political traction. But this week, the People's Republic of Earth have elected Ha as president. This is perhaps the most significant milestone in world politics since the inclusion of Oceanic Mammalian Alliance in the World Congress, or even the Voting Rights Act of 2150, which saw the introduction of voting rights of non-human intelligent life. In his acceptance speech, President-elect spoke about the intention to expand rights for all non-human intelligent life, specifically in business and property ownership. In response to the election results, human rights group Men Against Great Apes have released a statement calling for the removal of President and the return of all non-humans to their natural habitats. MAGA intends to protest the inauguration ceremony of the president, leading to concerns that interspecies rights groups Primate Liberation Front and the outspoken orangutan organization might lead counter-protests. We are told that due to these concerns, there will be an increased mounted police presence. And now, a personal message from this humble news clone to our monkey brethren.
Oh, I don't know if I'd be comfortable in a world where apes run the planet.
In a way, we already do. Do you get it?
Oh, I get it. We're apes too. Damn dirty apes.
Well, that's it for this episode.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.